All right, welcome into another on-location edition of the Sports Wrap here in Conway, South Carolina. I'm Craig Loper. He is Brian Parsons. Today, ODU falling to Tulsa 30-17. The Monarchs going to 6-7 on the year as they fall to a tough team, Brian. It's a tough game.
You know, a very experienced team. Now, we're talking about a team that has 6 seniors that have played more than 50 games, 25 seniors overall, and just a more experienced team. Old Dominion is a very young team with a lot of freshmen.
Yeah, to me, Tulsa really just looked like they overwhelmed the ODU offense. This Tulsa defense was stingy. I'm talking long, fast, and Hayden Wolf in this offense could never really get it going, it felt like.
Yeah, a lot of screen passes today, which we haven't really seen, and you know, they just couldn't get it going. They couldn't get the running game going either. There was some momentum-changing plays, though, in the second half where you thought that maybe they're going to get right back in the game, but as we will see in the highlights, it backfired on them.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, Brian mentioned the highlights, so let's get right to it and show you what happened between ODU and Tulsa in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. ODU fans were hyped up for this one. They filled the lower bowl at Brooks Stadium in Conway. Ricky Ronnie looking for his first bowl game win as a head coach. Things got started with a bang. How about Lamarion James from Indian River High School? 14 seconds, it's a house call. 7-0, Monarchs just like that. He dives in. Here we go. Tulsa, though, they're going to answer a long drive of their own. They work their way down the field. Shamari Brooks, the short score, and that ties the game up at 7 apiece. Golden Hurricanes second possession. Davis Brin to Juan Carlos Santana. He gave the ODU defense fits. In there for the score, 14-7, Golden Hurricane. It was 17-10 at halftime. The two teams would trade field goals in the third quarter. Early fourth quarter now, a key play in the game. Hayden Wolf complete to Ollie Jennings. Kind of looks like he made it in, but it's actually fumbled through the back of the end zone. This one called a touchback. It would have made the game a one-possession game. That opened the door for the Tulsa Golden Hurricane to put the nail in the coffin. Davis Brin complete to his tight end, Ethan Hall. That made it 30-10. And ODU, they would score a late touchdown, but the Golden Hurricane come out on top, 30-17.
So I made sure, I told them all that you better dap up every single guy in this room. Because if you miss one, you know, you never know when you're going to be able to see him again. And, you know, as a young man, you won't regret that right now, but 10, 15, 20 years from now, you certainly will.
Brian, you were in the postgame afterwards with some of these players, head coach Ricky Ronnie. What was the vibe like in there?
It wasn't that solemn. I mean, let's face it. This is a team that was 1-6 at one point. Nobody thought they were even going to make a bowl game at that point. So, but they were upset, obviously. Ricky Ronnie, first-year head coach. Nobody really knew what to expect with this guy. Yes, he's an offensive coordinator from Penn State coming in. I asked Ricky Ronnie after the game, as a first-year head coach, did he meet his expectations?
I didn't have any. My personal expectations were kind of what it's funny. I think sometimes you guys think I'm lying to you. I really do believe in this whole 1-0 thing. I didn't have any expectations. My expectation was that as a coaching staff that we would find a way to get the players better each and every week. As a head coach, I'd find a way to get the coaching staff better each and every week. And I knew if I did that we would, at the end of the year, we could look back and say that you know, we had a pretty good year. And ultimately, that's my goal, is to make sure that each and every week we get better, so that each and every week I give the players and the coaches an opportunity, to maximize their own personal potential.
Great stuff there from head coach Ricky Ronnie. And Brian, talking about some momentum possibly changing plays, there was one there down by you. What happened?
It was Ollie Jennings. It looked like it was going to be a Hayden Wolf to Ollie Jennings touchdown, but Ollie Jennings had the ball poked loose in the end zone, and it ended up being a touchback. Had he scored a touchdown, it would have been 23-17. Instead, it's a turnover to Tulsa, and then Tulsa scores a touchdown to make it 30-10 after that. Old Dominion did score a touchdown to make it 30-17. But that Old Dominion would have been within a touchdown at that point, and to me that turnover was the backbreaking play of the game. But a great way to start the game with Lamarion James with the kickoff return for a touchdown.
Indian River High School,
right to my camera, by the way.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
But you know, they just couldn't keep that momentum going against a Tulsa team that has played very, very tough competition like Ohio State, Oklahoma State, Houston, Cincinnati. They played Cincinnati tough. They lost by 8 to them, who Cincinnati's happens to be in the college football playoff. So this is a very, very, very good seasoned Tulsa team that ended its season on a 4-game winning streak.
And I agree totally with the Ali Jennings play. Changed everything. Hey, coming up next on the Sports Wrap, we're talking about the players, so we are going to hear from the players. Hayden Wolf, what did he think of this one in Myrtle Beach? We'll be back on the Sports Wrap. Welcome back to the Sports Wrap. I'm Craig Loper, joined by Brian Parsons as ODU falls in the Myrtle Beach Bowl 30-17 to Tulsa. All right, talking to these players in the post-game locker room, Brian, it was all about kind of a lot of things, but one thing was head coach Ricky Ronnie and his development of this team in his first season. Yeah,
first year as a head coach for these players who didn't even play season last year because of COVID. But I asked Hayden Wolf about Coach Ricky Ronnie in his rookie season as a head coach, and Hayden Wolf said, he's no rookie.
I wouldn't even call it a rookie season. You know, Coach Ronnie's been coaching the highest level of football, of college football, for I don't even know how long. And he knows what it takes to have a successful team. And, you know, I think our team needs to continue buying into the culture that he's helping build. You know, like I said, I'm so thankful for Coach Ronnie and, you know, him giving me the opportunity. And I know that he's proud of us and proud of this team for what we accomplished.
And we're not done yet. Next on the Sports Wrap, we put a bow on our time here in Conway, South Carolina, and look ahead to what's in store for ODU in 2022. All right, we're wrapping things up here from Conway, South Carolina. We're at the home of the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers at Brooks Stadium, Brian.
Yeah, nice stadium, but I'll tell you one thing, it really makes you appreciate SB Ballard Stadium. This is a nice stadium, but there's only one scoreboard. The press box is okay, but nothing like SB Ballard Stadium's press box. And there's no LED ribbons around the stadium like there is at SB Ballard. And, you know, this is a Sun Belt stadium. Old Dominion next year could possibly be in the Sun Belt. We're not sure yet. It has to be determined. It's either going to be 8 Conference USA games or 8 Sun Belt games. I personally think it's going to be 8 Sun Belt games. And out of conference, let's look at that. We're talking about next year. Old Dominion plays Liberty, East Carolina, Virginia, and Virginia Tech. There's no FCS game on the schedule next year for Old Dominion, so it's going to be tough whether it's 8 Sun Belt games or 8 Conference USA games. It's going to be a tough schedule, but this team, maybe they'll be up to the challenge.
Yeah, the Sun Belt stuff obviously to be determined. Hey, ODU, tough schedule in 2022. Let's hope Ricky Ronnie and the guys can certainly win on a winning season. For Brian Parsons, I am Craig Loper in Conway, South Carolina, and that's the Sports Wrap for the night. Thanks for watching.